I want to thank you for checking out another podcast of We Ain't Scared Talk, where we ain't scared. My name is A1, and let me say thank you to everyone that supports this podcast. I appreciate you. We are 6 months into the new year, and we're still going strong. So, very happy about that. As some of you know, we rebranded this show in January of 2019, and so now we are still progressing. We're halfway through the year. Wow, 6 months, man, and you know the next 6 months are going to fly by. But ultimately, let me say first and foremost, today's show. This was not on my scheduled list of shows. I had a completely different type of show written, and it's still going to be recorded, the one about the debt slavery, the student loan crisis, as it relates to black people. But I woke up this morning, and something just would not leave me alone in terms of my thoughts. But before that, get into it. Subscribe. Thank you to those who have. Get yourself that mug. I know you guys have seen those. These mugs are beautiful, black onyx, and they're only $30. So they will last you a lifetime. All right. So please get to the link on the social media and check those out. So let's go ahead and jump in because, again, I scribbled down some notes, wrote some things down. And so the name of this particular podcast is What Does It Mean to Be Unapologetically Black? What does it mean to be unapologetically black? And I think some of you listening may have heard this term before. I'm unapologetically black, which is great. But we don't really stop to think for most people, and I think even black people, I think we kind of get an idea, but non-black people may not. So, and let me tell you where this came from. There's a lot of hostility in America right now. Now, this hostility is nothing new. The hate is nothing new. It has been in this country for over 400 years. It's in the soil of this country. It's in the fabric. It's in the mentality of the power structure that there is a hateful spirit that is running rampant in this country against black people. And what infuriates me is there's no logical explanation and reason why non-black people should harbor any animosity towards black people. If anything, and I'll say this until my last breath out of my body, it's black people that need to be furious and harboring hate against non-black people. I meant that. Because we are the ones that provided all of the infrastructure, whether it was Europe, the British Empire, America, the Caribbean. We touched South America. We touched every corner of this globe historically. Black people. Okay? Before anybody. You can go to the Mayans, the Olmec, the heads, the ruins. You can go to the Nile Valley, Kemet, ancient Kemet in Africa. Okay? You can, anything dealing with the slave trade and how that went around the world, started the transatlantic, and it touched every corner of the world. So I don't understand where this irrational hatred is coming from. And therefore, being unapologetically black just kept resonating in my spirit. We're not going to apologize because we're black. The same way that non-black people don't apologize that they're not black. But in particular, it is a sense of pride because there is no place in the world, other than Africa, where we can go and don't have to be concerned about how we are viewed. There's no safe place in America, all right? I'm going to just put it there for now. because that's where I am and where a lot of black people are. There's no such thing as a safe place. There's no safety at work. There's no safety at home. There's no safety in your car. There's no safety in the streets. There's no safety when you're just minding your business. There's no safety when you're just walking to the store to get some Skittles. There's no safety when you're just out with a group of friends minding your business. You're listening to music. There's no safe place for black people. But I'm going to narrow it down because this show's about black men. There's no safe place in America for black men. There used to be a time, and I remember this, when my father would come home and we knew, okay, dad is here. We're cool. We're safe. You don't have to worry about anything. Okay? And that was what kept us feeling secure. Now, you have police officers that are claiming that they entered into the wrong apartment or home, or they're bursting into homes with no search warrants, suspicious or suspicions only, and they are killing black men and then saying, my bad, it was a mistake. We thought we were at the right address. It was the wrong address. I'm sorry. No, fuck that. We have got to, and I know what I'm going to say is just going to be like, what? Black people, black men, we've got to start taking some extreme steps to protect ourselves. And when I say extreme, I don't want you to, oh, we're just going to go out and start shooting. I'm saying if you can strap up, you need to strap up. If you can legally get a firearm, you need to get a firearm. I mean, that's just where we are in this country right now, because the president has decided to send out coded language to his neo-Nazi, white nationalist followers that they can just arbitrarily attack black men at will. And I, for one, am not going to sit idly by and risk being attacked and not be able to retaliate. I'd rather be sitting in a jail cell alive because I was not about to take a chance on this white man or non-black man coming at me with some kind of weapon or threat. And unfortunately, that's where we are in this country. You know, some people say, well, no, you just pray for your, no, fuck that. We're not praying for no enemy. That ain't going to do any good. If somebody's coming at you with some hostility, you need to respond with some hostility. That's where we are. And what I don't like about what I'm certain other people may be thinking is that somehow my words are instigating, or my thoughts. This is a response to what's happening. Black men didn't go out. We don't get up in the morning and say to ourselves, I wonder who I can go and intimidate, what cop I can find with no weapon, have them pull me over, me harass them so that they can tell me or potentially shoot me and give me orders that I'm not going to follow. It doesn't happen. And for some sick, twisted reason, anytime non-black people see a cop abusing, harassing, roughing up, attacking, maliciously assaulting a black man in cuffs, on the ground, on his stomach, their immediate thought is, wow, he must have really done something bad to deserve that. No. That is a very sad, sad testament to where we are. So, being unapologetically black that's restoring pride. Don't allow someone's non-black people's exterior, their abusive behavior, to affect you mentally and emotionally to the point where you're ashamed of even being black. And that's what it's interesting to me. I feel like there is this thing in the air that has always been here, that they shamed us and they want us to continue to be ashamed of being black. One of the greatest things in the world. It was black people that seeded every continent, every country, every island, everything on the planet. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Arab, Latino. It doesn't matter. You came from a black person. And because the world has shown so much hate towards us, you've bought into it like somehow it's okay, and it's not. And black men in particular, I want you to hear me when I tell you this. You keep your head up and you square your shoulders. You are the kings of this world. I don't care what anybody says. You're the kings of this world, of this universe. Everything started with you. Everything. I don't care what they try to do, and it's all subversive. The culture loves us. Hip hop, music, swag, style, they love us. And then they hate us at the same time. And you know why? It's because they couldn't do it. They can't do it. And they have to come to us for it. That's the other side of it. We have been so disgraced and so abused by them, and they know it. But at the same time, they also know they have to come to us for the things that are going to create the next wave of style and trends and fashion and flair and cool. You know, it's kind of like the oxymoron of slave masters hating their slaves. How can you hate something but then have sex whenever you can with the black bucks and the females whenever you want it? How do you hate something and say it's not human and it's terrible and all these horrible, degrading things, but then every hour of every day, of every week, of every month, you are having sex. You're having sex with these black women and black men and having children. You don't hate it. You're obsessed. And that's what this is. It is a sick obsession, and it's become an abusive cycle. And non-black people, but in particular white men in particular, are the perpetrators of this. So, and you'll hear this theme with me. This has always been about the battle between black men and white men. Always. And you go back to Hitler, you go back to King Leopold, you go back to every slaver that owned a slave ship, that owned a plantation. The battle, you go back to the tribes in Africa that fought the British, colonialism, imperialism. It has always been a black king or man against a powerful white man, wanting what that powerful king and black man has in Africa. And it was the resources, literally the gold, the diamonds, the silver, the copper, all the minerals there that a lot of being used for cell phones now, but the people as well, the men, the women, they paid these tribal leaders money, okay? So they would abduct, kidnap their enemies in Africa and then sell them or give them, turn them over to these white men. So everything, and I'm going to just cut to it. This battle in America is between black men and white men. And I'm telling you, black men, they are fearful for their lives because they know they are not stronger than us, which is why they always resort to violence. And we don't have to. That is, the little penis syndrome is what I'll call it. I'm just keep it real. I'm not going to pull any punches on this. And so being unapologetically black means we don't have to apologize for how God made us. We don't have to apologize for our black skin. We don't have to apologize for our phenomenally intelligent minds. We don't have to apologize for our well-endowed penises. We don't have to apologize for our physical attributes, our strengths, our abilities to achieve and ascend and overcome and to dominate any industry that we get into. which is why they work so hard to keep us out of certain industries, because they know these black men get in here, they're going to dominate not just them, but we're also going to dominate their women. I'm just keeping it real. That's what it is. And so how could that not be the case? When you think about karma, and I want you to go with me on this. And this is not on anything that I've written down. I want you to just go based on karma. Okay? You had 400 years of a white man dominating forcibly black women and black men, forcing himself sexually, okay, on black men and black women and black children. Okay? And then you want to tell me that's not going to be passed down from one sick white man to another one. Of course it is. Of course it is. And then, so what is the fear? Oh my God. That same black man, generation after generation after generation, they could dominate me. Now, I'm not saying sexually. I'm saying physically. Okay? And then the white women, for sure. So these things are all intertwined. And I said this on my social media, The Delectable Negro. If you have not read that book, if you have not picked up that book, if you've heard me say it, you need to get The Delectable Negro. You can Google it. It's on Amazon. And I believe the last name is Woodard that actually wrote that book. I am halfway through, and I'm telling you, every page in that book needs to be its own book. And again, going back to the topic, being unapologetically black, we didn't do this to ourselves. None of this was self-inflicted. None of it. The 300 years, 350 years of slavery, Jim Crow, the black codes, civil rights, and now what I'm really calling an attempt at resurgence of the Klan, which is really what I think is happening. There is a national call from the White House for the Klan to rise again. I'm just going to be honest with you. That is one of their major callings. What they shout out. A lot of people. The South will rise again. The Klan. Look, I don't personally believe that the way they think it will happen will happen. I really don't. But I do believe that it's good that we know who our enemy is and where they are. And as I said at the top of the show, black men, if you can arm yourselves, you legally, you can get a gun, do it. There's nothing wrong with you exercising your Second Amendment rights to bear arms. Nothing wrong with that. So, getting back to my notes, in being unapologetically African or unapologetically black is embracing your African consciousness. Okay, I know Christianity is very big for a lot of black people in America, and I get why. It was forced on us. It was beat into us. It was passed on. I get it. But don't be so attached to something that you don't really understand that you actually, your start was in Africa, the Nile Valley, ancient Kemet. Do some research, okay? Avoid the skin lightening. Okay, this is another part of being unapologetically black. And I know where this is coming from. It's the American European fascination with lighter is brighter, whiter is better. And the truth of the matter is, and I know I'm not the first one to say this, black people trying to get light, white people trying to get dark to look black. This just doesn't make sense to me. They want a nice golden brown caramel tan, nice plump lips, nice big butt, ample breasts. And that's why they stay in the sun so much. And us, we're running from the sun. When we were made to live in the sun because of our melanin. It's the craziest mind fuck. And I know that a lot of it is socially and professional upward mobility. I get it. There's this thing that, okay, if you have a certain lighter skin tone, maybe you'll be taken more seriously and less threatening and all this and that, but I don't really give a fuck. I don't care. God gave me what he gave me. And whatever he has for me is what he has for me. And if I don't get it because some racist white man wants to be racist, then I don't need to be around that racist white man anyway. You know, we work so hard to get into these areas and to be accepted. And the truth is, they don't like you anyway. And I said this earlier, Magic Johnson found out about that recently. Magic, to me, was one of the most beloved, is the most beloved athlete in the world. You have Muhammad Ali, who just passed. Matter of fact, Magic Johnson so loved, the Klan didn't even see him as black. I remember Oprah had a show where the Klan was on there and they asked him about Magic Johnson. Well, he's not black. He's not like regular black. I'm like, what are you talking about? And even he found out, as the president of the Lakers, that Jeannie Buss, the white female owner, who told him you have the power, could not support that power because a white man felt inferior. Because Magic could come and go as he pleases. And Magic left. And honestly, that's being unapologetically black. I'm going to stand up and not be abused. And you're not going to backstab me. So I mentioned earlier, we bring the culture. We are the culture. America would not be America without black people. We are America. We built it. And I know that, you know, some of you listening and, you know, maybe you don't embrace the whole unapologetically black thing because it's amazing how things people can say, oh, it sounds so aggressive. What are you talking about? People don't mind being unapologetically American. Pride, whether it's gay pride, American pride. See, everybody else can have pride, but black people. Everybody else can have gay pride. That's the biggest thing right now. This whole gay pride thing. And that they are pushing this agenda. I think Joe Biden said the LGBTQP agenda is going to be the very first thing on this list. So you can push gay pride, but mention black pride? You say black pride in a crowd. Anywhere. And it's a problem. People don't know what to do. Oh, wait, what do you mean? What's going on? Which is why, and I did this podcast, what comes first, your race or your sexual preference? And if you're putting your race behind your sexual preference, it's over for you. It's over. You never put what you were born as, the race, behind who you want to have sex with. Never. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And I mentioned that there's no safe place in America. And black people, and I don't like what I'm about to say. I don't like it. But we have always been a product. And this kind of hit me as I was writing this. We've always been a product. And that's where the problem started. We were chattel slaves. We were a product. We were bought. We were brought here. We were boxed. We were shipped. We were drop shipped. We were sold. We were placed. You know, it's like if Amazon was around during the slave trade, they would have just gone on a computer, looked at a slave, and then chosen which one they wanted, clicked it, okay, and then shipped it. Black people were products. We're products that they think can be abused, sold into the prison industrial complex, placed in the inner city for violence, to in the middle of violence, I should say. And while I'm talking about that, even this whole Chicago thing, every summer, every weekend, 20 people killed, 30 people killed, 10 people killed, 50. This is the biggest bunch of bullshit to me when they say gangs are out of control. No gangs operate like that. I want to be clear. There are no gangs on the face of the earth that operate like that. LA, New York are synonymous for gangs. Okay? This is a hit squad, in my opinion, a government-sanctioned hit. They have cameras. They have cameras on every single corner, every door in Chicago. And I've never seen a video. I've never seen a video feed showing the shooter. I've never seen a video where they said, this is shooter 1, this is shooter 2, this is the car, this is the license plate. I've never, ever seen that. I've never seen it. And that's suspicious to me. Okay? It's suspicious because any other time a black face is involved with killing somebody or getting beat by, our pictures are sprawled all over the place. We need assistance in finding this person. Same way they did with Jussie Smollett. Or, that same whole thing. They found those black men that were involved in less than 2 weeks. Less than, per the cameras. So I just don't want to go into this summer of you thinking that somehow this is a gang problem in Chicago. I don't know what it is about Chicago that makes it so where these, what I'll call government hit people or hitmen or hit squad, while they want to do it there, but there's something else going on. So unapologetically black. Being unapologetically black is a way to increase the pride in you, black man, that in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the oppression, in spite of everything that they're throwing at you to make you hate yourself, I want you to do the exact opposite. And understand, they want to be you so bad. They want to be us so bad. They want to literally be us. Don't let them fool you. They are obsessed. White men are obsessed with black men. Obsessed. Look, I know that you're going to hear this and you're going to have your own thoughts, and that's absolutely fantastic. But don't be ashamed of who you are. I'm a black man. Don't be ashamed. Okay? It is a attempt to also dehumanize and to make you feel so badly about yourself that you might harm yourself. And that's what I don't want. Don't get consumed by the lies. Okay? Don't get consumed by the lies. Black men, you are fantastic. You are incredible. Don't apologize for being black. Don't apologize for how God made you. You are perfect. Exactly the way you are. Unapologetically black. Well, I want to thank you for checking out another podcast of We Ain't Scared Talk. You got some good food for thought. Listen again. Tell a friend. My name is A1, and we ain't scared.